Week 12, Saturday morning. Same ritual, same coffee and the mic, and the quiet hour before the world catches up. But today I'm recording from my work table, like recalling my one of most special projects that I worked upon through my journey of architecture practice. I remember walking inside my school corridor early mornings as I reached far early due to my basketball practice. Before the children arrive, before the noise, before the chaos, and the beautiful, unpredictable energy of 200 small humans who haven't yet learned to contain themselves. And in this stillness, I asked myself to really feel what that space is doing right now. The morning light is falling at an angle through the northeast windows, golden, warm, the gentle kind. The kind that makes you feel seen. There are children's drawing pinned along the corridor walls, imperfect, brilliant, honest. A horse that looks like more like a cloud, and a house with the sun drawn in the center, rays coming out like a star. But this is not curated, this is all alive. And then there is that smell, the chalk and dust, the wood, old paper, the singular scent of a place where humans come to think. This is not just a building. This is a building type, one of my spatial autobiography. This is where I begin. So, yeah, before I go deeper, let me tell you what happened this weekend, and I need to tell you because this matters. Someone from this community, someone that I have never met in person, wrote an appreciation post on LinkedIn about this podcast, about Architects FM, and what these voice notes have meant to them. I read it 3 times, not because I needed validation, but because I was genuinely moved by the idea that words spoken into a microphone on a Saturday morning could find their way to another person's heart and make them feel enough to write about it publicly. This is emotional architecture, my friend, and this is what happens when a place, even a digital one, is designed with warmth. Thank you. Truly, you know who you are. This is Architects FM, India's first woman led international podcast where feelings is the priority. एक सफ़र दिल्ली से दिल तक. And today we are breaking the ground on the Mixed Land Use series, a spatial autobiography, 3 building typologies, 3 phases of one life, building one, schools and institutes, the place that built me before I knew I was being built. Alright, let me ask you something. Close your eyes for a moment, just for a second. Think of the 2 schools. Maybe the one you attended, or maybe the one you have visited for your child, or that you have walked past and felt about something, like though you couldn't explain what, but you felt. Both schools identical on paper, same infrastructure, same student to teacher led ratio, same CBSE results pinned on the notice board, same gleaming science lab in the brochure photograph, and everything. But one of them, the moment you walk through the door, your stomach drops subtly. The walls are straight, the corridors are clean, and yet something inside you tightens. And on the other hand, the other school, you take one breath in the hallway and you exhale, like fully. You've been like holding something in and didn't know what, but your child would be safe here. That is what you can feel in it. And you don't know why exactly, but you just know it. How do you measure that exactly? How do you put that in a brochure? You don't. You actually can't. A gut feeling cannot be Googled. And that right there is the question. at the center of this entire episode. What is that hidden architecture of a school? Not the floor plan, not the elevation, the emotional load bearing structure that nobody draws but everyone feels. Now I need you to take you guys somewhere. Come along. Fourth year of my architecture school. Renuka ma'am walks in the studio and puts one brief on the table. One sentence. This is all what she gives us. Design your dream school. That's it. No site, no budget, no constraint. Just dream. The whole class got excited. Schools are like universal. Everyone has an idea of a school, and we all started sketching these grand things like reception areas, teacher room, playing gardens, classrooms, practical labs, and so on. But then Renuka ma'am walks around the room, pauses at my desk, look at the sketch, and says something that I have never forgotten. Kashish, this is your dream school. How does it feel like to shape a human life through your architecture? I actually didn't understand it then, but I drew walls, windows, doors, and everything that I had been accounted for, circulation, for structure, and everything. But what she was asking was exactly really something that I wouldn't have the language until the years later. She was asking about emotional architecture. And now, years later, when I did my master's research, I came across a framework that finally gave me that language. Great school, great spaces are built 3 times. First, structurally, the body of the building. Macro scale geometry, climate response, environmental alignment. Second, sensorily, the mind of the building, how it manages light, acoustic, textures, movement, and how does it respond to the nervous system of the people inside it. And third, the most invisibly, emotionally, the soul, the unspoken curriculum, the culture that exists below every tile and about every above ceiling, the thing that is defined not by what is officially taught, but what is actually tolerated. Structurally, sensorially, and emotionally. 3 complete constructions within one building, and most schools only get built once. Before we go into the 3 versions of me, I want to ask you something. Think about your school that shaped you. Not the one with the best results, the one that left its mark on you. The one whose corridors you still dream about or still carry some weight from you. Ask yourself this. Was it built 3 times? Did its structure serve you? Did its sensory design hold you? And its emotional soul, did it tell you wordlessly every single day that you are safe to be curious, to fail, to ask why instead of just memorizing what? Or did it tell you, also wordlessly, to sit still, keep quiet, and match the template on the wall? I want you to hold that question as we go in, because the 3 versions of me are waiting. Now actually I'll start from the present me, because this version of me is the most that one is actually inside the school right now, like walking the corridors, teaching, observing. Every Thursday when I walk into the classroom for design thinking, I do a silent site analysis before the children arrive. I look at the walls first. Are they alive? Is there students' work up there? Messy, honest, imperfect work? Or are there just printed rules in a laminated sheet that no one has even read since the orientation day? Then I look at the entrance. How were children greeted this morning? Was there warmth in their threshold? Or a smile? A name remembered? Because I know as an architect and as an educator that the entrance is not a functional zone. It's a declaration every day that the first moment inside the building is communicating to the child, you are welcomed here as you are. Or it's communicating, you are a file number, fall in line. And I think about the classrooms that I have taught in. Some of them, the light falls at an angle in the afternoon that makes the children glow, warm toned, and something in the room shifts. They lean in, they talk, they begin to belong to the space. And see it every single week. The building is doing something to them. And half the time, no one in the school can actually name what. Alright, now the 15-year-old me is really wanting to say something. So let me take you guys back to my old school, the Oxford School. I used to have this changing room, girls' changing room, after my practice, around an east facing window. And in the morning before, when I used to go to the classes, before everything, the day started, that window would catch up the sunrise light. And for about 7 minutes, like the room would turn gold. And in those 7 minutes, I was just being present. Not really performing, not anxious, nothing. Just being present. And in that light, that room made me felt like it was holding me. My thoughts, it felt like a meditation. I never thought to call it like architecture. It was just a nice window for me. But I also remember like walking in my sister's classroom of some other school after I passed out. And the ones with no windows at all, like classrooms were there, which had ceilings so low, press something down in your chest, and where's the teacher's voice echo completely and bounced back. I remember her feeling smaller on those rooms. Not because anything someone said, but because of the structure of the space itself. No one ever asked a 15-year-old me, how does this room make you feel? Because no one needed to. The room was already answering on our behalf. And every single day, we used to feel different in both the schools. And now, the elder me, the version of me that lives in the future, I'm still moving towards. She's been quiet through all of this, but she is smiling because she is the one who has finally built it. And now the 45-year-old of Kashish version has something to say. So she said to both the younger versions of her, like, you remember when you used to say in your 30s, always slightly frustrated that schools need to be redesigned from inside out, that the curriculum matters but the container matters as much. You built it, Kashish. Not in the conventional sense, not a school with a registration number or a principal's office. Something different. Something that I can only describe as a living campus. Small, intentional, and built with every single thing you learn from every corridor that you have ever walked. Here's something that I want to tell you, because you're not ready to see the whole thing yet. The shape is an octagon, interlocking, open courtyard, no sharp corners, because sharp corners are anxiety made architectural. The northeast captures morning light for the learning zones. The southwest has dense plantation, trees and water that cool the afternoon heat before it can build frustration into the bodies of the children inside. There is a memory street at the center. We didn't name it that, the children named it. And it's the winding corner between the activity blocks where the serendipitous conversation happens, where the friendships form, where someone discovers something about themselves and that no classroom schedules about it. It's not a traditional school. Learning happens through recreation, through movement, through making. Children don't sit at desk memorizing what. They ask why. Constantly, loudly, beautifully. It is zoned into mind, body, and soul. Not as a metaphor, like literally. The mind zone is for the transition from outside chaos to inner focus. The body zone is for the hands on making and doing. And the soul zone, that quiet space right off the main corridor, is where children can go when they need to not perform for a while. The walls are always changing because every week the children put on something them, and it's never a rule. It is always a response. And the teacher in that says, I don't know, at least once a day, on purpose, because it is the most important lesson. Being human is more important than being perfect. You built this, Kashish. You built it because every space that you didn't hold and every rare golden chance that you got, you made it happen. So now let me pull a thread about the episode 2, because in that about pattern language, the way recurring elements in design, in life, form a grammar, a signature. I have been designing since my first year in architecture school, and over the years I've noticed something. My design instinct has always gravitated towards specific geometries: 6-sided, 8-sided, hexagon grids, octagon forms, organic, free-flowing connections between the modular units. I thought it was aesthetic preference. I thought it was just my eye. But now, having mapped the emotional architecture of schools through this episode, I understand it differently. The octagon is just not a shape, it is a philosophy. 8 sides, no sharp 90-degree dead ends, 360-degree flow, the ability in all directions simultaneously, the removal of bottlenecks, both in foot traffic and in thinking. And in Hindu cosmology and ancient temple architecture, the Vastu Mandala, the Manduka Mandala, and the octagonal represents the 8th house, the house that removes all obstacles and brings success, the house of transformation. And in the project that I did with Vishal sir in my practice era, the NIT Patna master plan, this ancient geometry was made modern, interlocking octagonal blocks with a central winding memory street, climate responsive side planning, 360-degree campus flow, a massive educational institution designed as if a nervous human system was designed as its primary construction concern and concept. From pure form to circle to octagon, and this is the geometric journey in the blueprints. But here is what connects it to own my story. That evolution from rigid to fluid, from constrained to open, from angular to multidirectional, that is also the pattern of my becoming. Biology to basketball, basketball to architecture, architecture to education, education to entrepreneurship, and now to this, a podcast, a community, an ongoing construction site that has no completion date yet. The pattern is hexagonal, always. Layered, cells, each connected, none isolated. No single point of entry, no dead ends. This is not just my design language. This is my life's language. So what is the emotional architecture of a school? It is the invisible load-bearing structure, the one that holds not the ceiling, but the self-concept of every child who walks those corridors. It is the warmth of a specific afternoon light through an east-facing window that makes a 15-year-old feel seen and the world magical. It is this teacher who says, I don't know, let's find out together. It is a wall that shows messy student art instead of laminated rules. It is that corridor, that memory street, designed not for efficiency but for serendipity. It is the entrance that says wordlessly every morning, you're welcome here, my child, as you are. A school is built 3 times, structurally, sensorily, and emotionally. And the third construction, the most invisible, the most permanent, is the one that stays with the child for the rest of their life. Long after the building is demolished, long after the teacher is forgotten, the feeling remains encoded in the body, in the nervous system. In a particular way, a grown adult either enters the room with ease or braces at the threshold. This is the blueprint no one draws, and that is one that matters the most. So here we are, week 12, building one of the Mixed Land U series, Schools and Institute, is now on site. Foundations being poured, the emotional load has been calculated, and what comes next in the series is building 2, the commute. And in between, the transit space, the metro, the workspace, the place where you are neither fully yourself nor fully professional, but something suspended in the middle. That has its own architecture, its own emotional weight, and we will get there. But here's what I need to tell you about this Saturday, that no one's coming. That we are shifting our rhythm, alternate Saturdays. It is getting a little hectic, but I promise you to show up every alternate Saturday and join the frequency of Architects FM with something new, something that I am being building in the background that I am genuinely not ready to name yet, but I am not being dramatic exactly. But to be honest, a little drama is good for the soul, right? But because it is still in the concept stage, I cannot reveal it. Best thing is to always do the detailing before they are announced. So come back. There will be something on this frequency that I think will genuinely surprise you. And as always, we are in the middle of a spatial autobiography. 3 building typologies, 3 phases of one life. Building 1 is now in front, and the emotional architecture of the spaces that held first. The first that failed us also, that whispered that you are belonging here. And if something in this episode today felt like that you already knew but couldn't name it, but now you can, because that means that you are already having the load-bearing walls. So stay with this Safarnama, Saturday by Saturday, side by side, concept by concept, working drawings baad mein. Till then, keep layering. Take care.